If you're looking to bring in some temporary H-2B workers under the H-2B visa program, but you're not quite sure if your need qualifies as temporary, don't worry, I am here to break it down for you. Now, for most H-2B filers, the temporary need will be 10 months or less per year, unless you're filing under what we call a one-time occurrence. Now, let's dive into the different ways you can establish temporary needs. First up, we do have the one-time occurrence. Now, this means that you have not employed workers for this specific job before, and you will not need workers for this job in the future, or you have a permanent employment situation, but a short duration event has created the need for temporary workers. Now, this one-time need can last up to 3 years. You might file this type of H-2B maybe for a nanny position, but you still have to remember that petitioner does need to establish temporary need. Now, maybe you need a nanny because your spouse is completing a fellowship program that will end in 2 years. In a situation like that, the need is defined and will be documented and show how you will not need a nanny after that 2-year period of time. Alrighty, next up we have seasonal need. Now, seasonal need is when the services of our labor are tied to a specific time of year, like landscaping in the summer or maybe snow removal in the winter. Now, if the need for workers is predictable and recurs annually, it's considered seasonal. Landscapers who file under this type of need do not employ groundskeepers all year long. Now, one thing to note about seasonal need is that you cannot use it if the service or labor is 1, unpredictable, 2, subject to change, or 3, considered a vacation period for your permanent workers. Alrighty, now we are on to peak load need. Now, peak load is when you have permanent workers, but you also need to bring in extra help during your peak seasons for your short-term demands. Now, these temporary workers will not become part of your regular staff. They're just there to help out when things get busy, which can be up to 10 months per year. So if a landscaping company has year-round groundskeepers or landscapers, 12 months a year, but they also bring in temporary workers for the busy season, this is the classification that they would use. Alrighty, finally, we have intermittent need. Now, this is when you occasionally or intermittently need temporary workers for short periods, but you don't have permanent or full-time workers doing that same job. Now, an example of intermittent need would be a company that produces maybe limited edition porcelain ware to commemorate a special event, but only from time to time and not on a fixed schedule. This is actually the example that the government used. It's very specific. Now, another thing that it's important to remember is that H-2B employment covers temporary unskilled jobs that are not related to agriculture. Agricultural jobs use the H-2A program instead. Okay, so there you have it. If your need falls into one of these categories, you're on the right track for the H-2B visa program. Give us a call when you're ready to begin your H-2B visa journey.